Hello, everybody. This week we are starting a 3-week series on hope. Now, I just gotta be blunt with you. Even though this series is about hope, this video is not gonna end in a good place. But you'll see why in a second. The reason I want to talk about hope is because um, when I'm looking at the news the last couple of weeks, months, if we're being honest, I feel like it is easy to lose hope. It is easy to lose hope. And not just about like COVID-19 stuff, but like the world. How will we get over this, right? How can it get better? It can be easy to lose hope. And so, some of you, maybe you've heard a bunch of my story before, and some of you maybe have never heard it. So, I'm going to start by talking about a Bible story, and then I'll share my story. And the story will continue on throughout the weeks, so I'll just be sharing a piece of it today. But first, let's talk about the disciples, right? Jesus like plucked these 12 men out of their normal lives, out of what they knew, out of what they were used to. And the men willingly followed him. But I'm sure in their decision to follow him, there was like we're on like the winning team now, right? Like we're following this guy. Our lives are going to be amazing. He's a great leader. There's going to be this huge change. This is great, right? And then Jesus gets arrested. Jesus gets put on trial. Jesus is killed, right? And in that moment, I am confident that the majority of those men lost hope, right? They lost hope because at that point, they've lost everything. They've already given up their previous life to follow this man who is now dead. Their whole movement is done, right? It's over. What are they going to do? Can they even go back to their old lives? Because now everyone associates them with this man who is considered a criminal and who is executed, right? That's who they're known for. They cannot, there's nothing left, right? Their world has shrunk to what are their options, right? And that's what hopelessness feels like. This constriction, this tightening, this looking around, and there's nothing left. There are no other options, right? That is hopelessness. So my story. I was maybe 20 or 21 years old. My life had been pretty standard up to that point, right? And it starts with whenever I stand up from having, sitting in class for an hour, sitting watching TV for too long, when I would stand up, I would feel this tightness in my lower back. And it would take me a while for my back, and then it would finally loosen up, and then I could get going again. That's how it started. And the first place I ever felt it, I was working at Indian Hills summer camp, and I remember standing up from Devos one morning, and my back just like scrunched up. And I was like, what is this? Now, working at camp is wonderful, but it's tiring and it's stressful, and I had stressful stuff going on at home. So I was like, probably just stress. As the months went on, I noticed more things. It was hard for me to run. I was getting less and less coordinated. I started tripping. I started falling. All these things. But I'm like, gotta be stressed. Gotta be, I don't know. But deep down, if I was honest, I was like, this feels like something serious, but I can't really deal with that right now. So I didn't go to the doctors. I was like trying to exercise more, trying to strengthen my legs, doing whatever to compensate for this whatever was going on. Finally, when I was working at summer camp, I think maybe my third summer there, the camp director was like noticing like my knees and my shins were just constantly being scraped up from tripping and falling. I was struggling to do some of the jobs that were required of me at camp, and the camp director is like, "What is going on? You need to go to the doctors." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I don't even know how to." And he was like, "Take someone with you, right? Take someone to help you, advocate for yourself, but this has to get figured out." So then it's like a year-long process of x-rays and MRIs and seeing different doctors and getting blood drawn and all this stuff, right? And the whole time I'm like, what is this going to be? And they, all along the way, they're like, it's not a muscular thing. Okay, cool. It's not a bone thing. Okay, cool. We did MRIs. There's no tumors on your spine or your brain. Sweet. I mean, I guess I didn't know that was an option, but glad there's nothing there, right? Do some blood work. Oh, I had not a geneticist. I had a neurological doctor, and he was like, there's this kind of rare neurological disease. And that's what I'm thinking this is. So let's do some blood work. Did the blood work. Psych, no, not that disease. We're just going to just run the gamut. Do all the blood work. Check your genetics. Do all of it. Finally, I go into this appointment, and he's like, okay, so we did all the blood work, and we found this genetic mutation, right? The gene sequence, right? Something's different than what it's supposed to be. And that is causing you to have this condition that is known as adrenomyeloneuropathy, AMN for short, right? And if you think of your spine as being like this electric wire, outside the metal wire, we have this plastic coating that keeps the wire insulated and lets the signal run smoothly. Well, your body is not maintaining this plastic part the way it should. So the signal, as it's getting sent on the wire, once it gets to the part where the plastic's like broken, it's getting scattered. So my brain is telling my legs, move legs. But once it gets to my lower back, it's like, and the signal starts to get scattered, doesn't get to my legs the way it's supposed to. So I'm like, okay. And I know he is like saying it without saying it, but I'm like the ding dong dummy dumb who just needs to ask the question. And I have two friends in the room with me and the doctor, and it's kind of quiet, and I just go, so what do we do to make it better? And then there's another like 3 seconds of silence, and I already know the answer. And the doctor says, we can't do anything. We can try to manage it so that it's not harmful to you, so that, you're not falling as much. We can give you canes and crutches and eventually wheelchairs to assist you, but you're not going to get better. And in that moment, my life and my world goes, and I feel hopeless, right? These were the words that I was avoiding for years by not going to the doctor. I didn't want to hear someone tell me it's not going to get better. That's what I was avoiding. And it took people to push me to get me there to hear the truth. And it was a hard truth to hear. And it left my world feeling like constricted. No options, no hope. So like I said, downer for week 1, right? But hope is supposed to be this light that can come into those places. So we need to get there first. And maybe you've felt that way, right? And it doesn't have to be to the same degree, right? It's not a comparison game. It's just, can you relate to that feeling, right? Maybe it's failing a class that you thought you needed to pass to, get to your goal. Maybe it's losing friends or a relationship Maybe it's someone you know or love getting sick. Whatever it is, what I want you to think about this week is, when were those times and those places where your world felt like this, where there was no options, no hope? Um, Next week, I promise, will be better. But that's it for this week. Week one of hope. Yay. Bye, guys.